Hi, this is Mark Hoke. Has out-of-control inflation, gas prices, and grocery costs wrecked your wallet? Then check into automated day trading with Trading Made Easy. Trading Made Easy has spent 5 years helping people put cash in their pockets with their simple-to-use day trading software. So if you're ready to leave that 9-to-5 job behind, visit TradingMadEasy.com or call 800-971-4160 to sign up for a free live training seminar right now. That's TradingMadEasy.com.
101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. 1 full hour of wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's bring on the tag team of Andrew Fish Fain, Joe DeFalco, and your host, Mark Hoke.
Oh, baby. Let's wrestle. Let's do it. Let's do it, Fish. Fish. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Sunday morning. Don't worry. Be happy. Come on. We're doing the Mark Hoke Show. KDWN 101.5 FM. 720 AM. It's the talk of Las Vegas. It's the station so nice it's on your dial twice. Andrew Fish Fain, along with Mark Hoke. Fish, join me in the revelry. Come on.
It's too early in a Sunday morning.
No, it's never too early to revel. Never. But we are going to bring you the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment today. A very busy week. But one thing I do want to kick off with real quick, of course, Joe DeFalco is not here with us today. Why is that? Well, here's why. Because, of course, today, he is the kingpin of future stars of wrestling here in Las Vegas. And, wow, what a night, Fish. This is going to be at the Silver Nugget starting at 5 p.m. Listen to this card. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? So we've got, and I'm actually going to work my way from the bottom to the top. They got a No Limits Scramble match, which is featuring Danny Limelight, Damian Drake, Jacob Austin Young, Brandon Gatson, and Jordan Oasis. That should be a wild one, kind of kicking things off.
Danny Limelight's really good.
He is amazing. He's performed in New Japan and AEW. He is something else. A battle of the bruiserweights, and these are two huge dudes. Toa Leona and Bad Dude Tito are going to be facing off tonight. They are two massive men. That should be a lot of fun. Hey, if you like, Wrestling Observer, Filthy Tom Lawler's going to be in town tonight. He is leading Team Filthy, taking on Team Violence. It's Lawler and the West Coast Wrecking Crew against Cody Hancock, Tyler Bateman, and Funny Bone. And if you've never seen Funny Bone...
I have not.
Oh, that's right, because when we went, you disappeared during that match, and you didn't see Funny Bone.
I did not see
You missed Funny Bone. You're in for a treat on that one. That's going to be a terrific match. Remy Marcel and Sam Adonis, and if you haven't seen Remy, he's amazing, too. Women's Championship match, Viva Van, who I know is getting some looks from AEW and WWE, is taking on Dark Sheik for that title. Gregory Sharp is defending the Nevada State Championship against, of course, one of the former American Wolves, Davey Richards, who's also doing a clinic today at noon. So if you want to get an insight about becoming a professional wrestler, that's going to be a lot of fun, too. So,
and one of the best tag teams to come down the pike in a long time.
American Wolves are awesome. Matt Vandergriff, and one of my favorites.
He's lucky I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. You should come down, Fish. I think you should call out.
I would, but I don't want to scare Vandergriff.
Well, he's got enough.
I want him to have no excuses if he loses tonight.
He's got enough on his plate tonight because he's taking on Kenny K-I-N-G King.
My boy Kenny will take care of my light work.
So Vandergriff and Kenny King tonight. We've got the FSW Tag Team Champions, TBD, taking on Carlito and Chris Masters. You remember them from WWE?
Yeah, and I wanted to ask Joe this last week, but when you have a card like this and you're booking it, and you're booking two guys who are big names from outside of your arena, can you possibly expect them to pull an upset or pull a surprise win? I
think you can. I know he's working. I know he's got Carlito signed to do a few
shows.
Yeah, so that should be an interesting match tonight. And then the match for the Mecca Grand Championship, 3 absolute superstars. Hammerstone, of course, who's the MLW champion, and the FSW champion, will be taking on Brian Cage and Chris Bay.
Brian Cage, who we've seen on AEW, obviously.
And Chris Bay just signed
with Impact.
A new Impact contract. Man, it's going to be a great night. And you can actually, they've got a couple matches on the pre-shows as well this evening that they're going to be showing on their Facebook and YouTube channel. I believe those are starting at 4 o'clock Pacific.
And if you're listening, Vandergriff, I'm coming for you.
Stop it. I will be in Vandergriff's corner and take you out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm coming for you, Vandergriff.
You're not going to get anywhere near him. I'm putting a shoulder right in your stomach.
Please.
I will drop you like third period French.
I'll just give you a code red and move on.
There's not a chance you could code red me. No way.
We'll see.
No way.
Vandergriff, I'm coming for you. Just know that.
I'm a little bit puffy right now. You will not do that.
Just know. All you got to know is I'm coming for him.
Yeah, but if you want to see some terrific wrestling tonight, you're here in Las Vegas. The ringside seats are sold out, but they've got a few general admission, a couple second row seats, and they've got a meet and greet today too. If you want to meet some of these guys, get down there a little early.
I wish I wasn't working because I'd go and meet Vandergriff.
Yeah, and that's only $15 extra.
I give him what for?
Yeah, shut up. Just stop. Go away. But it's going to be a great time. So if you can get down this evening, you need something to do, and you want to see some terrific professional wrestling, Silver Nugget tonight, 5 p.m. Mecca Bowl!
Absolutely. Any of the FSW events are highly worth it, but if you only ever see one, this is the one.
This is a pretty good one.
Mecca is the one to see, and yeah, tonight's is amazing.
Yeah, so please check it out. Go to fswvegas.com, and of course, if you want to learn to be a wrestler or anything like that, they have an academy down there.
Going to help me take out Vandergriff.
You're going to need a lot of help. I will stop you.
I don't need a lot of help.
You do need a lot of help.
I got my help right here.
Oh, Lordy. You don't know me very well, do you, Fish?
I don't need to. It doesn't matter.
I will protect Vandergriff at all costs.
It doesn't matter.
I'm on the payroll.
That's fine, but it doesn't matter.
Anyway, but please check it out tonight. It's going to be an awesome time. All right. A lot going on this week. In ring and out.
I would like to start with CM Punk.
It's funny because that's where I was going to start today. We finally have some developments in the situation with CM Punk, Ace Steel, and of course our executive VPs, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, who of course after All Out and CM Punk's unscripted, unplanned, well, he might have planned it, scrum discussion
it seemed like he planned it because he came out, at least when the audio and camera started, the first bit of video and audio you hear is him going off on Adam Page.
It was
actually more of him going off on
everybody.
Yeah, on I can't think of his name now. Colt Cabana, thank you.
The Colt Cabana thing, he went off on Kenny Omega, the Bucks, Tony Khan. It was like a 70s Vietnam napalm.
Right, and I will say that, and like it or not, the whole thing is the fault of Tony Khan because he was sitting right there right next to CM Punk and he could have shut him up and he didn't.
He should have.
And that was his job to do.
He should have. Well, we have our first break in this whole thing because, of course, no one has said a word. There's a legal investigation going on. Everyone has kept their mouths shut. Until now, as the first domino has fallen,
Ace Steel,
who is, if you don't know who he is, he trained CM Punk. He was working for AEW as a coach, doing other things backstage. Ace Steel is Histoire.
Fired.
As the Mexican.
You're Fired.
He gone.
We need to get a clip of Vince McMahon saying that so we can just play it anytime someone's fired.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But he is out of there. And, here's the really funny part. Because in the brawl, he actually bit Kenny Omega. They had Punk's dog in there, and Kenny got it out of there. Probably for everybody's safety as well as the dog's. But Ace Steel, man bites man on this one. And he is out from AEW. And the funny part is, this is what killed me about this, is apparently Ace Steel was shocked that he was let go.
That makes no sense.
Dude.
He had to know it was coming.
You're a backstage guy that...
But say of the 5 people, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, CM Punk, and Ace Steel, he is the most expendable.
Quite expendable.
Yeah.
So apparently his reaction was that he thought he was going to be around, and he was just stunned that he...
Nobody's going to miss Ace Steel.
No, you blew it, dude. Don't bite Kenny Omega.
Don't bite anybody.
Don't bite anybody. I mean, that's a good rule to follow.
Usually. Lesson 1 here is don't bite people.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. It's not something you want on your resume. Could you just imagine having to put that down? Excuse me, sir, what happened at your last job? Well, I bit one of the executive vice presidents. Oh! Well, we'll be seeing you flipping burgers at McDonald's. But, so that ship has been played.
And the ship has sailed. Ace Steel, which is just a freaking hilarious name. Ooh, almost. But, I mean, that can't be his real name.
I'm not going to Wikipedia. Why don't you brought it up, you wiki.
Ace Steel is like an action hero's name.
That's pretty good.
I am Ace Steel. Anyway, like I said, he is the most expendable and the least consequential.
So now we go to...
This is where I want to get to.
Now we go to the other side of it. CM Punk, of course, who had won the AEW championship that night and then was stripped of it, along with, of course, Kenny Omega and the Bucks.
Christopher Guy is his real name.
Okay, there you go. I'd go with Ace Steel, too.
Yeah, so would I.
But CM Punk, apparently, they are talking buyout for CM Punk.
Apparently, the holdup may be the non-compete clause.
That's what they're saying at this point, at least Dave Meltzer is reporting that from Wrestling Observer, that Punk that apparently AEW is saying he is looking to send him on his way, and there's been a lot of locker room reaction to that, saying, well, it would take a lot for him to be able to exist in the AEW scene and fit in with the locker room after what he did. And they're not talking about the fight. They're talking about the stuff that he's said and done.
No, absolutely. And there's 2 schools of thought about what happens to him once he gets released. And that's regarding the WWE. First one is that there's no way the WWE would touch him because he's toxic and they don't want that toxicity in the locker room. The other school of thought is signing him would be like the signing of Cody Rhodes in the sense that it's a trophy to hold over AEW. We got your guy. And that would be the only reason they would do it.
Well, I see what you're saying. But, I just, there are so many stories about Mr. Brooks, CM Punk, causing locker room issues.
No, absolutely. So,
and Triple H is in charge, and he does not like him. But this is a best for business kind of opportunity, maybe.
And the reason why I say it is because if everyone thought there's no way WWE is touching him, then there would be no issue with the non-compete clause because AEW would say it wouldn't matter. They're not going to sign him anyway.
Yeah, well,
so someone in AEW has to believe that WWE will at least reach out to him and see what they can do.
Well, and I think on the other side of that too is you signed the guy to a massive deal.
He was the face of the company.
The last thing that you want to see him doing after that tricep heals up is him immediately popping up on WWE programming. Especially after you committed so much. And I'm imagining that buyout is going to be millions of dollars to get out of that contract, if that's what they end up doing.
Which was bigger, his debut on AEW or Bray Wyatt's return debut on WWE?
I think to the company, CM Punk's return was more important to AEW.
I meant
than
to
Bray Wyatt.
The pop, right? But the pop and the fan reaction to it. And the reason why I ask is because in the last 5 years, 10 years, those are the two biggest that I can think of. I
would agree.
Even bigger than Sting showing up on WWE TV.
I would agree with you. That's I just the one thing that's bugging me about all this, and let's be frank for just a second, is the best possible scenario to me is you resolve this. You figure out a way to clean the situation up. CM Punk gets down on a knee and begs for forgiveness and is contrite and doesn't act like he runs the place. And now all of a sudden, now you've got Kenny Omega and Punk. You've got, with a chance to make a really interesting feud that a lot of people are going to care about, and one that everybody wanted. That people wanted that match. And that was probably the one that everybody was looking forward to the most.
Right, and think about the ramifications if it could happen now.
Right.
The problem is, I think you're right. I don't think anybody in the AEW locker room wants Punk in there now because of what he did. So wouldn't it make more sense not to buy him out, but just to do what WCW did, pay him to stay home? That way you don't have to worry about the non-compete clause, because as long as his contract's there and as long as he's getting paid, it doesn't matter.
Well, and here's another point on that too, though, is let's say he does go to WWE. Apparently what he's like to deal with. Are you actually helping yourself out by subtracting and hurting the competition? Yeah, he's going to get a pop and people are going to, cheer for him for a while, but you add him to a very large mix of talent, but you put him and he's going to want what he wants.
But the difference is in AEW, he had the freedom that everyone craves, but that freedom led to this problem. In WWE, while they have more freedoms than they had under Vinnie Mac, they're still under a corporate structure. So that freedom isn't necessarily there. So he doesn't have a chance to be the kind of guy he was in AEW.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to be a wonderful human being backstage. Everyone's going to love him. But the boundaries are a lot narrower in WWE, so it's going to be very harder for him to run afoul of it.
See, if I'm Triple H, what I'm thinking about this is, on the business side, yeah, it would be
huge
great to bring him in.
He's going to move merch. He's going to get the pop of all pops.
But at the same, I don't know. He might get booed up pretty hard, but
he would. I think he would in AEW. I'm not so sure he would in WWE.
But I also think that after you have gotten this whole thing with Vince McMahon pretty much over with, and people are apparently very happy with how things are going in WWE for the first time.
That's the problem.
And God knows how long.
Do you want to upset the apple cart?
Right. Do you want to stick him in there and risk that?
And I don't
know.
And it's funny because 6 months ago I would have said, absolutely you do. WWE needs him. Now I'm not so sure. I think CM Punk may need WWE more than WWE needs CM Punk.
I think that is quite the case. Thank you very much. I mean, at this point,
but we also don't know.
If he burns that bridge he's burned the bridge with AEW. What else does he have left to do?
Right, but it may be moot because he may still hold a grudge against WWE and have no desire to ever go back there, because him and Triple H were never close.
No, not at all.
And
they did not like each other.
Remember when he retired, he was quite happy not to wrestle anymore. Mm-hmm. And that was in his prime. Now he's older. He still may not want to wrestle anymore. Well, AJ Lee is she still wrestling for Glow, or wasn't she writing for Glow or doing something with Glow? I can't remember
what she's doing right now.
I thought she was doing something wrestling related for the Glow promotion. But he could also go to Impact, which,
Lord.
I mean, because if money obviously won't mean anything to him, because he's going to get paid a ton to leave AEW, why not?
But eventually that money's going to run out.
Yeah, depends on how he invests it. But you're right. I mean, I don't see him going back to UFC.
So here's the thing. Where does he go?
Future stars of wrestling. Mecca next year, starring CM Punk.
He'll be in the demand on the convention circuit and things like that. But if it were me, I think he's radioactive, and I wouldn't get near it.
If you're CM Punk, do you want to rehabilitate your career and your image?
That's the other question: does he
or do you
really
not
want
care?
to do it? And here's the other side to CM Punk too that I think people are overlooking a little bit. You mentioned that he's older. Well, now he's had 2 major injuries.
Broken foot and the tricep.
So he's getting older.
How old is he now exactly?
I want to say early 40s.
I'll look it up.
But he appears to be getting a little injury prone. Do you want to invest that kind of money?
He's 43, born in 78. So he's just beginning to be the end of his prime. Or he's at the end of his prime.
You want to take the chance on that? I mean, like I said, they lost him twice, and they lost 2 world championship reigns because of, obviously the fight and everything, but he had torn the tricep too. He was out. So something was going to happen anyway, even if that fight didn't happen. So that's 2 world championship reigns that get screwed up in AEW. That's a mess.
It's going to be very interesting. And I think I think one of the people, believe it or not, that the WWE would talk to about it would be Cody Rhodes. Because he has the most recent contact with CM Punk, right?
That would be an interesting conversation. I'd like to be the fly on the wall on that one. By the way, this is the Mark Hoke Show on KDWN 101.5 FM 720 AM. We are the talk of Las Vegas. Pro wrestling at its finest. Andrew Fain, and I'm Mark Hoke.
This is coming from a wrestling writer, Wade Keller. He said that Triple H is more likely to bring Punk back than Vince McMahon would have been.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the situation, if you don't know the situation with Punk when he left WWE, he was bitter, he was angry, he sued them because of medical care that he claimed he didn't receive. He was beat up. It was not a good situation for him. He was very unhappy, and WWE was not happy with him either.
And Keller does say that somebody who's currently in the WWE and within the sphere of influence of Triple H would be a hard no on taking Punk back.
He
doesn't say who it is, though.
I just think it would be a mistake. I mean, I think Mr. Phil Brooks needs a little time to check himself.
He needs a timeout.
He does. You have to realize that you're closing in on the end of your career, and for him to do what he did. I mean, Tony Khan aside, yes, he should have stopped what he was doing, but that was something he allowed to go on gradually as this thing went on. The abortion rights shirts, the Hangman Page stuff. It built up and built up, and that should have been nipped in the bud. There's no question about it.
Well, I mean,
but on the other side, CM Punk's a pro. He should know better than that.
And CM Punk ran up against this in WWE. Think about it. The inner circle, the elite, if you will, with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they were basically the Clique.
Yeah.
With more power than the Clique.
Absolutely.
And CM Punk hated the Clique.
Yeah. Crazy situation. We will keep on top of it. And by the way, if you want to stay on top, go to markhokeshow.com right now and get signed up at betonline.ag. You can bet on almost anything on this site. It is awesome. Plus, you get a 50% sign-up bonus. You put $1,000 in there, and you're going to get $500 back to bet on whatever you want, including professional wrestling. That's right. You can bet on wrestling on betonline.ag. So all we need you to do is go to markhokeshow.com, click on one of the links. You'll see the banners. They're all over the place. Get your membership and put in that code. I believe it's all on the website. And, hey, make some money, man. Go bet on the games today. Whatever you want to do. It's betonline.ag. Hey, when we come back, more contract stuff with AEW. I think Fish is going to be a little heartbroken about it.
I am. I'm definitely heartbroken about it.
I think he's going to be very heartbroken. Stick around. We'll be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDWN 101.5 FM, 720 AM, the talk of Las Vegas.
Tired of the same boring food when you're out for breakfast or lunch? I'm Mark Hoke, and I have an idea for a different place to go with unique food you're sure to enjoy, and that's Unique Eats. Take some time out of your busy day and stop on in to Unique Eats, featuring celebrity chef Dominic Tedesco and his friendly staff. Whether it's a great start to your day with one of Unique Eats' amazing omelets, for lunch with his incredible sandwiches, pasta, and award-winning pizzas, you'll be in for a fantastic dining experience that won't break the bank. Unique Eats also features a smoothie bar and full vegetarian menu as well. Plus, if you need catering, you can count on Unique Eats no matter what the occasion. So what are you waiting for? Get on over to Unique Eats at 3100 South Durango, Suite 100, open daily until 3 p.m. Call them at 702-992-3038 or visit uniqueeatslv.com for their full menu and catering info. Break out of the same old routine and have a great meal at Unique Eats today. When it comes to having the right attorney in your corner, you want to have a proven winner on your side, and Russell Dutch Boyd of VegasCounsel.com knows how to win in Las Vegas. Boyd graduated at 18 years old from law school and is also a 3-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner. And no matter what legal challenges you're facing, Boyd will help you through it all. As a litigation attorney, he covers multiple areas of law, including personal injury, business law and startup, cyber law, and crypto clients, and whatever else you might need to navigate the legal waters of Las Vegas and beyond. Just visit VegasCounsel.com to set up your free initial consultation today. That's VegasCounsel.com and let Dutch Boyd help you win today. Once again, that's Russell Boyd at VegasCounsel.com.
1015 FM, 720 AM. KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's step back in those ropes. Ring that bell.
Ding.
There you go. Andrew Fain. Now you're coming on. I just got to get you into the peppy beginning. One morning, I want you to come in here all pepped up.
Not going to happen.
What if I brought you a cookie?
Wouldn't have.
2 cookies?
Nope.
Donut?
Getting closer, but no.
Flaming cake?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do flaming cake.
I want Vandergriff.
Oh, stop it.
I'll be peppy if you bring Vandergriff in the studio.
That I'm sure I can make happen. I'll talk to him. I'm going to go to Mecca tonight.
Okay.
So I will.
You let him know that I'm coming for him.
I will speak
I'm gunning for Vandergriff.
I will speak to Mr. Vandergriff. Anyway, Andrew Fain. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. Joe DeFalco, of course, getting ready for Mecca tonight.
Protecting Vandergriff from me.
At the Silver Nugget, 5 p.m. Be there or be square, kids. It's the hip place to be.
Oh, good Lord. When you say things like be there or be square and it's the hip place to be, it instantly makes it the unhip place to be. So don't say things like
my
that.
Fingers over here, you know.
Hey, chickie.
Cats. What's going on?
Come on, Sinatra. Let's go.
Anyway, back to the wrestling news. As we mentioned, Andrew Fain is heartbroken. He's devastated.
I am.
His pain is palpable.
Well, it's not. I mean, I am, but I'm not. It's not. It's not a make or break, but it would have been nice.
Chris Jericho has re-signed with All Elite Wrestling. Pretty massive deal.
It's basically the same deal as Moxley. Maybe not money wise, but inducement wise. As far as he's a producer within the company, he's mentoring, things like that.
He has signed an extension through December 2025, and per Bleacher Report, it will be expanding Jericho's backstage role to include producer and creative advisor. He will also mentor young talent.
Didn't I just say
on
that
the
2
roster.
seconds ago?
Well, I had the line, I read it. So he's 51 now. So that takes him through.
It's like 54.
That takes him through 54-ish. So good for Chris Jericho.
Judas effect.
Yeah. Hey, Judas on my mind. Yeah, that's but a pretty exciting development for Chris, and he's absolutely thrilled to death about this.
I'm very happy for Chris Jericho, and it's funny. He's the one wrestler that basically was nothing and built himself up from that. because he was treated like absolute dirt in WCW.
Yeah.
And he built himself up from that to being one of the top names in the business.
You know, I still remember when he left WCW and went to WWE. And, of course, the first day, apparently, he ticked everybody off because people felt like he upstaged The Rock.
That was the idea.
Yeah, but it didn't sit well in the locker room. And then when he became the undisputed champion, when they had that kind of little
which
four-man
was shocking.
With, you know, Stone Cold The Rock and who else was in that? Was it?
I want to say Kane, but
Now, oh man, Fish will get on the internet machine on that. But when he won the undisputed title, everybody was like, wow, Chris Jericho? Really? Really? But he has been proven to me to be one of the most diverse performers in professional wrestling history. I don't think there's any question about it.
It was 98 days he held it. He overcame such names as Big Show, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, and The Rock.
I think it was Kurt Angle was in that tournament. But anyway, Jericho has been absolutely phenomenal. He is still performing at such a high level.
He actually only defeated Stone Cold and The Rock on that same night, it says.
Yeah, but The Rock wrestled somebody to get to that.
In 2001, he became the first undisputed WWF champion, having won the unified WWF and world titles by defeating Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and The Rock on the same night.
Which is incredible. That was 2001. Good Lord. That
21 years ago.
21 years
ago. If
you
were born on the day that happened, you could drink now.
Oh, wow. But Jericho, when they asked him why do it, he said, I guess the simple answer is why not? Things have been going so well in the company, and I really do feel that this is my company. It's tattooed on my heart, so to speak. I've been here since day one, and there's really no reason to not be here continuing forward.
Of course there is.
Well, you know, but he's happy.
Don't care.
He's happy. Of course, he's the Ring of Honor champion right now, going on a tear. And by the way, great match with Dalton Castle this last week. That was fun.
Yes.
And other than the boy, some of the extra boys were failing to execute hammering Jake Hager outside the ring. Maybe need to find some different extra boys. But, you know, call me. I mean, I guess I wouldn't look good in the flamingo type outfits. But anyway, but Jericho re-signing, I think, is a terrific thing for AEW.
I think it was a must move, though, because I absolutely think, again, if they don't re-sign him, I think he is definitely going back to WWE.
And this is on top of the extension, 5-year extension for Jon Moxley as well. So they're trying to really get this core nailed down.
No, I agree, but the difference is I don't think Moxley had any designs to going back to WWE. I think
you wanted him to, though.
I did, but I don't think he did. No. I still think when Jericho's extension is up, I still think he signs like a 1-year contract with WWE to do something over there to finish his career there.
He might.
I don't think he's going to be much of a huge active wrestler. I don't think you're going to see him doing what he's even doing now. But I think that he'll have some role in WWE before it's all said and done.
Maybe a WrestleMania match or something like that.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I think he's earned it. I mean, he'll definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So Chris Jericho keeps it rolling. Another guy that has been rolling. Let's do one of the matches first before we talk about the promo. Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley met for the AEW Championship on Tuesday night.
They did.
And the match ended up in a disaster.
It did.
As Page did a lariat on a clothesline on Mox, and then Mox kind of jumped up real quick. Both of them were in separate corners. They charged each other. Moxley clotheslined Page, who did the flippy woohoo thing, and
landed on his head.
And landed on the side of his head, and was out cold.
They called the match instantly.
And so referee Paul Turner, a 20-year veteran in the ring, and thank God he was the one in the ring, as there are some inexperienced referees in AEW that I don't know if they'd have handled it the same way. But Page was literally flat, face down on the mat. Turner's checking him out. Mox is kind of watching what's going on. Doc Sampson, their physician, jumps in the ring, and the match is stopped with about 11 minutes to go in the broadcast. And it was a very I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. It was tense.
Yeah.
It was very tense. And,
it was. You held your breath for a minute there.
But I'm not sure. There's two things that I want to get takes on from this. First, if you watched how they handled it, they went totally off camera. They kept the cameras away from where Page was, instead of everybody seeing what was going on, because they took the bottom rope off and stretchered him out. Turned out he had a concussion. He's fine. Other than, he's probably
having a concussion
and having a pretty nasty
AEW
concussion.
has a concussion problem.
We're getting there. And of course, they went through what's coming up on Rampage on Friday night. Went through that card, and
it was a good thing that Mox was in this match, because he ramble a promo.
He just did an off the cuff promo. Of course, the ending for the show was that MJF was coming out to challenge him at Full Gear coming up in November. But it was awkward. But I was listening to Jim Cornette's podcast, of course, the former manager of the Midnight Express, who felt like they should have kept the cameras on Page, and he paralleled it to the NFL, that they're showing what's going on so everybody knows, instead of making it. He felt like it kind of made it look like something really bad happened, that they weren't showing what was going on in the ring, and kind of pumping up the concern for Page's health. Do you think that AEW should have kept the cameras on there?
Absolutely. I think that transparency is key in these situations. I think if, he's gushing blood or something, then no. But in this situation, I think they absolutely should have, especially when it's found out that it was, and I know a concussion is serious, but it wasn't paralyzed. It wasn't anything to that effect.
Yeah. And I did see, there was a part where you did see him moving his arm. So he was, I think it would have
eased some tension at home.
Right. Because it was scary, not showing any piece of that.
Yeah, if the NFL is going to show Lawrence Taylor breaking Joe Theismann's leg over and over again, then they should have shown this.
Yeah. Now here's the other point. You mentioned about there's been a lot of concussions in AEW, but I want to take it a little bit bigger picture. When Mox did the lariat on him, and Page does the butt over tea kettle kind of thing, and flips over and then lands on the side of his head. One thing that Cornette pointed out was everybody is trying to overemphasize things that happen in the ring. They're doing more than they need to do, and it's getting people hurt. And one thing, we've seen a lot of issues, mostly lately in AEW, but I think we are seeing a real trend in wrestling where people are trying to do so much in the ring and make things stand out so much that I wonder if it's getting overboard and creating injuries and putting these guys at risk.
I will say this, WWE is doing this with Liv Morgan right now, and I think it's incredibly wrong, because she will get hurt doing the extreme stuff that she's been doing, and I'm sure we'll talk about WWE later.
Yes.
But that is absolutely an issue. And part of the issue is because AEW feels like it has to outshine WWE in the one place that it can, which is in the ring itself.
See, well, I take it back to a more general situation and training and things like that. And I'm going to ask Joe about this next week when Joe's back from Mecca, which is coming up tonight at 5 p.m. at the Silver Nugget. The guys that come from the independent circuit are trying to make a name for themselves.
Yep.
And you see, if you follow wrestling on Twitter, you see some of the craziest stuff that people are doing in the ring, and you just wonder how hurt they're getting and what they're putting their bodies through to try and stand out.
All you have to do is ask Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. I mean, that whole situation, and what I think really caused Jeff Hardy to do what he did was that match with Darby Allin that he had.
And then he thought he had to outshine Darby Allin.
And he did and Darby jumped on him and he was lying on the chairs and took that brutal hit. I mean, that whole thing was just a crazy spot. And of course, Jeff was hurt. started drinking, and here we are with Jeff Hardy, whose pretrial hearing got postponed, by the way. But I just wonder if these guys are just trying to do too darn much and aren't relying on psychology in the ring, but they're trying to get too physical. I think back to Rey Fenix when he dislocated his elbow, and he did that crazy spot where he did the moonsault off the top and landed wrong and popped his elbow out and cost himself 6 months.
The problem is, if you think about it, if you search the annals of your mind and go, okay, what two are the most significant spots that stand out in my mind in wrestling history? To me, they are Mankind being thrown off the cage at Hell in a Cell, and Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off the ladder.
Those are definitely two of them, yes.
And that's what people are getting to, is like, I want to be remembered like that. I need to do something spectacular. And it doesn't have to be so in the everyday telling of a story.
No, those are moments where, number one, you need to practice those, and number two, that's not for your Tuesday night Dynamite.
No, exactly.
That is for
WrestleMania.
Right. That is pay-per-view type stuff, not the Tuesday show. And I know what everybody's trying to do, and you're trying to make people say, wow, this person, I'm making a moment that I'm going to remember. And WWE is well known for making their viral moments. But boy, I'll tell you.
Did it have anything to do with the fact that AEW was on Tuesday night up against NXT? The way that WWE said, we're going to be up against AEW, we're going to send a lot of main roster guys to NXT this week, which is exactly what they did.
And they still lost.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's a typical spot with the lariat flip. But did you need to do it?
No, absolutely.
And the question
it wasn't necessary.
You don't need to do those. I remember the one guy that you would go crazy when you were selling the lariat was Stan Hansen back in the day, because Stan Hansen was this monster. That was his finishing move.
It was JBL's clothesline from hell.
If you did that, yeah, you sell it. But this wasn't a spot where you needed to do that.
No,
and I get it. And watch the match, and I get it. But at the same time,
it wasn't even a finish.
Unnecessary chance.
Right. It wasn't the finish for the match either. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do a spot like that, it should be at the finish, if you're going to ever do it. And you're right. It should be saved for a pay-per-view, not for a Tuesday.
Yeah, I think everybody's just trying to do too darn much to stand out, and and I feel bad for the performers. Now, I'm sure if there were a few wrestlers sitting here, they're going to say, I could do that all day long. I said, yeah. And I'd say, yeah, you could, but do you have to?
I mean,
do you have to?
Adam Cole's still out with his concussion.
He may not be back either.
Right. And, I'm scared for Saraya to come back in the ring.
Yeah, me too.
But it's going to happen. I'm still scared for Bryan Danielson and for Edge to be wrestling at any time, because anytime they take one spot that's a little off, I go, oh.
Yeah. It's nerve-wracking. By the way, this is the Mark Hoke Show on KDWN 101.5 FM, 720 AM. We are the Talk of Las Vegas, talking pro wrestling for the next hour and 10 minutes-ish. Having a blast, that's for sure. Now, it's funny that we kind of talk about that, and then we go to the other big thing that happened on AEW, which was MJF's another knockout.
Brilliant promo. He may be better than Paul Heyman now on the stick.
It's pretty darn close.
MJF is that good.
MJF confronted William Regal, who used to work for WWE.
And I will say this. I am pleasantly surprised that AEW allowed the mention of WWE constantly in the promo.
Well, it's part of the story.
Right.
So,
but he could have said the other company, or he didn't have to mention he didn't have to say WWE, and he said it several times.
So the story was that MJF was very young in his career. The people that he was training with got a call that WWE needed some extras to do some things at some sort of taping or something like that, and they were doing tryouts and to see who they could use, and MJF got in there and nailed it, and William Regal pulled him aside and said, "You know what, kid, you're going to be really special. I want you to send me a
match and a promo every month."
Every month. And after a few months, Regal basically told him, "Take a hike," and sent him this email. And MJF said, "I read that email every day. that motivated me every day. And the people were just eating this up because it's a real story about what happened to him in the journey of his career. And, now here he is and getting ready to challenge one of Regal's proteges, Jon Moxley, for the AEW World Championship at Full Gear. And then Regal fired back and said, well, if it took an email to get you motivated, well, I guess I did my job, didn't I?
And had it, and then you had you had it easy, sunshine.
Yeah. And all that, telling his story about how he was getting beat up when he was 15 years old, wrestling adults. And it was an amazing, amazing promo. And MJF knocks it out of the park again. And where I'm kind of trying to tie this together is MJF has always had to decide on a ring style where he doesn't do all that crazy stuff in the ring. He watched guys like Nick Bockwinkel, Ric Flair, and studied and studied and studied.
Technical wrestlers.
And guys, he doesn't, can he do things? Yeah, he's done some pretty cool stuff in the ring, but he's not one of those people that is out doing the crazy spots for 20 minutes. He relies on ring psychology, and he relies on all these promos and building himself up so when you get to a match, you're already jacked up to see him get beat up. You're already fired up to watch him go. And he doesn't have to do those kind of things. And the things that he does in the ring make sense, and he doesn't take unnecessary chances. And to me, that should be a lesson for everybody when you wrestle, is that you don't have to be you don't have to be Ray Phoenix.
The other guy,
and I'm not criticizing Ray Phoenix. He's awesome.
The other guy I think of that he's a lot like, and I think MJF is leaps and bounds better than this guy, but The Miz is the same sort of way.
Yeah.
Because The Miz doesn't take those crazy risks. He knows how to wrestle, and he's more about the promos and the psychology of it, and you want to see The Miz get his butt kicked.
And the thing is that The Miz just got hurt a little while ago. But that was really
he had a bursa sac burst.
Yeah, and he had something else too, or his knee. It wasn't his knee. But those are the first major injuries that guy's had in 15 plus years.
And that's why.
Because he takes care of himself in the ring, and he understands that. You're seeing a trend where a lot of people are getting hurt badly and maybe shortening their careers by taking unnecessary chances in the ring.
And MJF isn't that guy. If MJF goes, he can go for another 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And
that makes him only 44 years old.
And the really cool part is if you look at a guy like The Rock, The Rock was really smart in the ring too. He didn't do all that kind of stuff. It was mostly power-based and psychology. And
Stone Cold was the same way until he got his neck broken by Owen Hart.
Yeah. If you look at people that are role models of how to be a professional wrestler, those are the guys to look at. And like I said, I'm not down at a Jeff Hardy or anybody that has that high-flying style. It obviously has its place in the ring, and it's cool. But at the same time, I think there's too much of an emphasis. Guys are just getting in the ring and thinking they have to jump off a balcony and do a moonsault into 5 people going backwards off the post to get attention, and you don't have to do it.
I mean, Roman Reigns is the same thing. The most dangerous thing he does is the leap over the top rope.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker was the same way. That was the most dangerous thing he would ever do, is the leap over the top rope. Although he did throw mankind off the top of a cage.
He did. Whenever you're in a profession, you need to look at the people that have been most successful in the profession. And you have to give a ton of credit to MJF because he puts the time in on his promos. I mean, you've seen the video where he was 19 and did cut that promo that he sent to WWE. And
I have not seen that video.
Oh, you need to see that. It's pretty cool. You could see there was a future.
There's something there, yeah.
So it's fascinating to watch. It's going to be fascinating to watch what MJF does, and here and beyond wrestling.
Well, the promo at the end of the show kind of teased a face turn for MJF.
Yeah, he's got everybody messed up.
He's
amazing.
That's why he's so brilliant, because basically, why don't you tell everyone what he did at the end of the show?
Yeah, and he came out and said, "I'm not going to cheat. Because Regal got him all fired up, and
I'm not cutting corners.
Nope, I'm just gonna beat Mox straight up."
Is he going to cheat?
Of course he's going to cheat. He's MJF. Oh man, but a fascinating week on AEW, and in and out of the ring. And boy, but there's a lot more going on too, brother. There was a WWE week. We got pay-per-views canceled. We got all sorts of weird stuff going on out of Stamford, Connecticut. We will be back with more for our second hour on the Mark Hoke Show. I'm Mark Hoke, Andrew Fain. Stick around for more wrestling news and entertainment on KDWN 101.5 FM, 7:20 a.m. We'll see you for hour number 2 right after the news.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.